The three alien patrol ships moved into attack formation around the human vessel with practiced precision. Captain Jake Morrison watched them through the main view screen and had to admire their coordination. The Zeltharian ship took the high position with its quantum shields already glowing bright blue. The Korthak vessel moved to the left flank, while deploying swarms of biomechanical attack drones. The Voidkin ship began phasing in and out of normal space as it circled around to the right. Thousands of alien observers crowded the viewing decks of Nexus Station to watch the upcoming battle. Jake could see their ships pressed against the massive windows like spectators at a sporting event. Most of them probably expected the fight to last only a few minutes before the primitive human ship was disabled or destroyed. All stations report ready. Captain, called out Chief Engineer Danny Kim from his position at the engineering console. Power levels are normal and all systems are functioning within acceptable parameters. Jake nodded and activated the ship's communication system. This is Captain Morrison to all hands. Remember the plan, everyone. Let them hit us first and make some noise when they do. We need them to think they're winning before we show them the truth. On Nexus Station, Ambassador Lisa Grant stood in the diplomatic viewing area surrounded by alien dignitaries. The Zeltharian High Commander was already celebrating humanity's expected defeat, while the Korthak Queen made clicking sounds that indicated amusement. Even the normally reserved council speaker Morden seemed confident that the test would prove human inferiority. Perhaps we should prepare medical facilities for the human survivors, suggested the Nebulan representative in his gaseous voice. Their ship appears to have minimal defensive capabilities. Lisa maintained her diplomatic composure while internally counting down the seconds until the aliens learned how wrong they were. Humanity appreciates your concern, but Captain Morrison is very capable. We have confidence in our people and our technology. This statement caused more laughter among the alien observers. The Voidkin ambassador flickered between dimensions as he spoke. Ambassador Grant, your species shows admirable loyalty. But loyalty cannot overcome the laws of physics. Your ship cannot possibly survive against 3 Council patrol vessels. The first attack came from the Korthak ship. Bioplasma bolts streaked across space toward the Defiance in bright green streams of energy. Jake watched the weapons approach and waited until the last possible moment before giving orders. Evasive maneuvers, Danny, but make it look clumsy. Let a few of those shots connect. The Defiance moved sluggishly to the left as several plasma bolts struck its hull. The impacts caused visible explosions and damage to the outer armor plating. Alarms began sounding throughout the ship as systems showed signs of stress. To outside observers, the human vessel appeared to be taking serious damage from the opening attack. Hull breach on Deck 7, reported Ryan Walsh from the damage control station. Emergency force fields are holding, but we're showing significant structural damage. The alien observers on Nexus Station cheered as the human ship staggered under the Korthak assault. The Zeltharian High Commander was already declaring victory, while the Insectoid Queen prepared to order her ship to finish off the damaged human vessel. Even Ambassador Lisa appeared concerned as she watched smoke pour from holes in the Defiance's hull. The Zeltharian ship fired next with its reality-warping cannons. Beams of twisted energy struck the human vessel and caused sections of the hull to flicker and distort. The weapons worked by altering the fundamental nature of matter and could turn solid metal into gas or energy. When the beams hit the Defiance, pieces of the ship seemed to disappear entirely. They're using dimensional weapons, Amy Foster whispered to Jake from her position at the weapons console. Those reality warps are affecting normal space-time around the impact points. Jake smiled grimly as he watched more sections of his ship take damage. Not bad, but they're only working in 4 dimensions. Show me the real dimensional readings, Amy. Amy's console displayed the true status of the Defiance across all 12 dimensional planes. While the ship appeared heavily damaged in normal space, it remained completely intact in the other 11 dimensions. The alien weapons could only affect reality in the 4 dimensions their species could perceive. The Voidkin ship attacked last by phasing into normal space, directly above the human vessel. Energy beams fired downward from the alien ship, while it remained partially shifted between dimensions. The Voidkin believed their phasing ability made them impossible to target effectively, since they could exist in spaces between normal reality. Direct hit to the bridge section, Ryan reported as sparks flew from damaged consoles around the command center. Primary systems are showing failures across multiple decks, Captain. To the alien observers, the battle appeared to be going exactly as expected. The primitive human ship was being systematically destroyed by superior alien technology. The viewing decks filled with cheering sounds from dozens of different species as they watched humanity's first combat test end in failure. Council Speaker Morden activated his communication system to address the human ship. Captain Morrison, your vessel has taken severe damage. Do you wish to surrender and end this demonstration before your crew is seriously injured? Jake looked around his bridge at the sparking consoles and damaged equipment. Smoke filled the air while emergency lights flashed red warnings throughout the command center. To anyone watching, it appeared that the human ship was on the verge of complete destruction. Jake activated his response channel with a voice that sounded strained and desperate. Negative, Council Speaker. Humanity does not surrender easily. We still have some fight left in us. This statement caused another wave of laughter from the alien observers. The Korthak Queen clicked her mandibles in what appeared to be genuine amusement. The humans show courage even in defeat. Perhaps we should offer them positions as entertainers when this is over. Jake turned to Amy Foster, who was monitoring her dimensional targeting systems with complete calm, despite the chaos around them. Her console showed perfect locks on all 3 enemy vessels across multiple dimensional planes. The alien ships had no idea they were being tracked by weapon systems they could not detect or defend against. Amy, do you have clear targeting solutions on all 3 vessels? Jake asked quietly. Perfect locks, Captain, Amy replied. All 12-dimensional frequencies are synchronized and ready. The enemy ships are completely exposed to our weapon systems. Jake looked one more time at the alien observers celebrating on Nexus Station. The Zeltharian High Commander was already discussing humanity's expected application rejection, while other species made jokes about primitive human technology. They had no idea that everything was about to change. Amy, I want clean disabling shots only, Jake ordered. Take out their weapons and propulsion, but leave life support intact. Let's show them what 50 years of secret development can accomplish. Amy's hands moved across her console with practiced precision as she prepared to fire weapons that operated across dimensions the enemy could not perceive. Dimensional targeting systems are locked and ready, Captain. Weapons are free to fire on your command. Jake took a deep breath and spoke the words that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Fire all weapons, Amy. Show them what humans can really do. 50 years earlier, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked late in her laboratory buried deep beneath the Nevada desert. The hidden facility was so secret that most government officials did not know it existed. Elena stared at the quantum equations covering her holographic displays and rubbed her tired eyes. She had been trying to solve the same problem for 3 years and tonight felt no different from any other night of failure. The problem started when humanity made first contact with the Altrurian collective. The peaceful aliens had shared basic scientific knowledge as a gesture of friendship. Most human scientists celebrated the new discoveries, but Elena noticed something strange in the data. The Altrurians described reality as having only 4 dimensions, while human theoretical physics suggested there might be more. Elena ran another test with her experimental equipment. She placed a simple metal cube in the quantum field generator and activated the system. According to Altrurian science, the cube should only exist in normal spacetime. But Elena's instruments detected something else. The cube was somehow present in spaces that should not exist. Computer, run a full-dimensional scan on the test object, she said. The response shocked her. 12 distinct dimensional signatures detected Dr. Rodriguez. The object appears to exist simultaneously across multiple planes of reality. Elena sat down hard in her chair. If the reading was correct, then humans could perceive and interact with dimensions that other alien species could not access. She ran the test again with different objects and got the same impossible results. A coffee cup existed in 8 dimensions. A pen existed in 11. Even a simple paperclip registered across multiple planes of reality. She called her research partner, Dr. Marcus Webb, who lived 2 hours away. Marcus had been working on consciousness studies while Elena focused on quantum mechanics. Marcus, I need you to get here right now. Bring your neural scanning equipment. When Marcus arrived, he found Elena sitting in the quantum field with sensors attached to her head. Elena, what are you doing? That equipment hasn't been tested for human exposure. Marcus, look at these readings, Elena said excitedly. My brain is interacting with the quantum field across 12 different dimensional frequencies. When I think about moving the test objects, they respond in all 12 dimensions simultaneously. Marcus connected his neural scanners to Elena's head and watched the impossible data stream across his monitors. Human consciousness was somehow naturally linked to dimensional spaces that advanced alien species could not access. Elena, this changes everything we know about human evolution and consciousness. They spent the next 6 months conducting secret experiments. They discovered that roughly 1 in 10,000 humans had strong dimensional sensitivity. These rare individuals could not only perceive multiple dimensions, but actually manipulate matter across dimensional boundaries. Elena and Marcus realized they had found humanity's greatest secret and potentially its greatest weapon. The research expanded when Dr. Sarah Kim joined the project. Sarah specialized in military applications and immediately understood what Elena's discovery meant for human defense. If we can build technology that works across 12 dimensions while alien weapons only work in 4 dimensions, we become effectively untouchable. The 3 scientists worked in complete secrecy for 2 years. They built prototype devices that could exist and function across multiple dimensional planes. A simple laser pointer became a weapon that could hit targets in normal space while firing from dimensional space. A basic shield generator could block attacks by shifting into dimensions the attacks could not reach. The breakthrough came when Elena successfully created the first dimensional targeting system. The device allowed a human operator to lock onto targets across all 12 dimensional planes simultaneously. An attack launched through the system would manifest directly inside enemy shields and armor because the weapons would travel through dimensional space that defensive systems could not block. "We need to contact the military," Sarah said after witnessing the first successful test. This technology could revolutionize human defense capabilities. General Patricia Hayes arrived at the facility 3 days later. She was the head of Earth's most classified military programs and one of only 12 people who knew about the Altrurian contact. Elena demonstrated the dimensional weapons, while Marcus explained the consciousness interface requirements. "You're telling me that humans can naturally access dimensions that alien species cannot perceive," General Hayes said. "And you've built weapons that use this ability." "Correct, General," Elena replied. "But the technology requires human operators with dimensional sensitivity. The weapon systems must be directly linked to human consciousness to function properly." General Hayes understood the implications immediately. She authorized unlimited funding for the project and recruited the military's best engineers to help develop the technology. The project received the codename Pandora's Arsenal and became humanity's most guarded secret. Captain Jake Morrison was selected for the program 5 years later. His psychological profile showed high dimensional sensitivity and exceptional tactical thinking. Jake spent 2 years learning to interface his consciousness with prototype weapon systems. The training was difficult and sometimes dangerous, but Jake adapted quickly to the strange sensation of thinking across multiple dimensions. Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster joined the program as Jake's weapons officer. Amy had the highest dimensional sensitivity scores ever recorded and could perceive all 12 dimensional planes simultaneously. When she connected to the weapon systems, the targeting computers achieved accuracy levels that seemed impossible. The first dimensional warship was built in a secret facility on the dark side of Earth's moon. The ship looked like a standard human vessel from the outside, but contained the most advanced weapons ever created. Jake commanded the ship during its first test flight and watched Amy demonstrate the dimensional weapons against unmanned targets. "Target destroyed, Captain," Amy reported after firing the first shot. The weapon manifested directly inside the target's hull, bypassing all defensive systems. Jake studied the test results with amazement. The target had been a decommissioned alien ship with advanced shields and armor. The dimensional weapon had ignored every defensive system and destroyed the target instantly. "Amy, can you explain what just happened?" "The weapon travels through dimensional space that exists parallel to normal space," Amy explained. "It can appear anywhere within our targeting range without crossing the space in between. Enemy shields and armor cannot block attacks that come from dimensions they cannot access." Over the next 20 years, humanity built an entire fleet of dimensional warships. Each ship appeared to be a simple metal vessel with basic technology, but contained weapon systems that could defeat any known alien defense. The crews trained constantly to hide their true capabilities while preparing for the day when humanity would need to reveal its power. The day finally came when the Galactic Council invited humanity to apply for membership. Jake knew the aliens expected to see primitive human technology that they could easily dismiss. Instead, they would discover that humanity had developed the most advanced weapons in the galaxy while appearing to be a weak and harmless species. Jake remembered Elena's words from their last meeting before her retirement. The aliens think they understand reality because they can perceive 4 dimensions. But humans can see 12 dimensions, and that makes us more powerful than they can imagine. When the time comes, Jake show them what humans are really capable of. Now Jake stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching alien patrol ships move into attack positions. The enemy crews probably felt confident about defeating what appeared to be a primitive human vessel. They had no idea that human consciousness could reach across dimensions they could not perceive, and strike with weapons they could not defend against. Amy, are you ready to show them what 50 years of secret development has accomplished? Jake asked his weapons officer. All dimensional targeting systems are online, Captain, Amy replied. The aliens are about to learn that appearances can be very deceiving. The massive space station called Nexus hung in the void like a metal city among the stars. Ships from 12 different alien races docked at its ports while beings from across the galaxy moved through its corridors. Captain Jake Morrison stood at the window of his ship and looked out at the impressive sight before him. The human vessel UHS Defiance looked tiny next to the alien warships that surrounded it. Jake had been preparing for this day his entire life, but seeing it happen still made his heart race. Today, humanity would face the Galactic Council for the first time. Today, they would decide if humans were worthy to join the greatest alliance in known space. Jake touched the communication device on his collar and spoke quietly to his crew. This is it, people. Remember what we practiced. Act normal and let them think what they want to think. The airlock opened and Ambassador Lisa Grant stepped onto the station. She wore the simple blue uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps and carried herself with quiet confidence. Behind her walked Jake and 3 other crew members. The aliens in the corridor stopped to stare at the humans as they passed. Some pointed and whispered to each other in languages Jake could not understand. They walked through corridors filled with wonders that human science could barely explain. Walls made of living crystal pulsed with soft light while gravity fields shifted direction every few meters. The air itself seemed to change color as different atmospheric systems mixed together. Jake had read about Nexus Station in classified reports, but seeing it with his own eyes was different. The council chambers sat at the heart of the station. Massive doors made of some unknown metal slid open as the human delegation approached. Inside the circular room, 12 thrones held the representatives of the most powerful species in the galaxy. Each throne was designed for a different type of being, and the sight was both beautiful and terrifying. High Commander Zixthala of the Zeltharians sat on a throne that floated 3 feet above the ground. Her silver skin reflected the chamber's lights, and her forearms moved in graceful patterns as she spoke to other council members. When she saw the humans enter, she began to laugh. The sound was like music, but Jake could hear the mockery in it. So these are the famous humans we have heard so little about, she said to the others. Look at their tiny ship outside. It barely has proper shields. The Korthak Queen clicked her mandibles together in what Jake knew was their version of laughter. Her insect-like body was covered in natural armor that could stop most weapons, and her compound eyes reflected the humans like broken mirrors. She had conquered 17 star systems before joining the Council, and her reputation for violence was legendary. Their technology appears to be several 100 years behind our own, the Queen said in her buzzing voice. Perhaps we should offer them a ride home in a proper starship. Even the gaseous nebulans were making fun of humanity. Their cloud-like bodies pulsed with colors that Jake's briefing materials said indicated amusement and superiority. They lived in the vacuum of space and considered solid beings to be primitive life forms. Seeing them mock humans felt especially insulting. At the center of the chamber stood Council Speaker Morden. His crystalline body was 12 feet tall and seemed to be carved from a single diamond. His species had never lost a war in over 1,000 years, and their technology was so advanced that other aliens considered it close to magic. When Morden spoke, his voice echoed through the chamber like distant thunder. Welcome to Nexus Station, primitive humans. We have gathered to determine if your species deserves membership in our alliance. The requirements are simple, but many species have failed to meet them. Lisa stepped forward and bowed slightly in the way Earth's diplomats had practiced. We are honored by this opportunity, Council Speaker. Humanity is ready to prove worthy of your consideration. Mordoon's crystalline head turned toward the viewing screen that showed the human ship floating outside. Your vessel appears to be constructed from basic metals and powered by fusion engines. Our newest cargo ships have better defensive systems. Are you certain you wish to proceed with the evaluation? Jake felt anger rising in his chest but kept his face calm. The aliens were treating humanity like children who had wandered into an adult conversation. He knew what the Defiance was really capable of, but the plan required patience. Everything depended on the aliens believing humans were weak and harmless. We understand our technology may seem simple compared to your advanced systems, Lisa replied. But humanity has always believed that actions speak louder than appearances. This caused another wave of laughter throughout the chamber. Even the normally serious Voidkin began shifting between dimensions in what Jake recognized as their expression of amusement. Their ability to phase in and out of reality had made them nearly impossible to defeat in battle, and they clearly thought humans posed no threat. Morden raised one crystalline arm and the chamber fell silent. Very well. The test is standard for all species seeking council membership. You must survive a combat simulation against 3 of our patrol vessels. The battle will be monitored to ensure fairness and your crew will not be harmed regardless of the outcome. Jake saw Lisa nod seriously, while inside he smiled. The aliens had no idea what they were about to witness. We accept the terms of the evaluation. Captain Morrison will command our vessel during the test. Excellent, Mordoon said. You have 1 hour to prepare your ship and crew. The simulation will begin once our patrol vessels are in position. As the human delegation left the chamber, Jake could hear the aliens continuing to make jokes about Earth's chances. The Zeltharian High Commander was already placing bets on how quickly the human ship would be disabled. The Korthak Queen suggested the test might be over in less than 5 minutes. Back on the Defiance, Jake gathered his crew in the briefing room. Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster sat at the weapons console while Petty Officer Ryan Walsh monitored the ship's hidden systems. Chief Engineer Danny Kim had spent the last hour running final checks on equipment the aliens had never seen before. They think we're primitives flying a metal can through space, Jake told his crew. Let them keep thinking that for now. Amy, are our special systems ready? All 12-dimensional frequencies are synchronized, Captain, Amy replied. The targeting systems are locked and loaded. We're ready to show them what humans can really do. Jake looked out at the 3 alien patrol ships taking positions around the Defiance. Each one was larger and more heavily armed than his vessel appeared to be. The crews of those ships probably felt sorry for the humans they were about to defeat. That was exactly what Jake wanted them to feel. Remember, everyone, he said to his crew, let them hit us first. Take some damage and make it look good. Then we show them why humanity belongs in this council. The moment Amy Foster activated the Defiance's weapon systems, reality itself seemed to shift around the human ship. To the alien observers watching from Nexus Station, the damaged human vessel suddenly stopped behaving like a normal spacecraft. Instead of existing in one place, the ship began appearing in multiple positions simultaneously. As it spread across different dimensional planes, the Zeltharian High Commander stopped, laughing as his instruments detected impossible readings from the human ship. What is happening to their vessel? My sensors are showing the same ship in 12 different locations at once. Council, Speaker Morden leaned forward on his crystalline throne as his advanced scanning systems tried to process what they were seeing. The human ship appeared to be existing in dimensions that his species could barely detect and could not access. This should not be possible. No known technology can achieve multi-dimensional existence. Amy's targeting systems locked onto the 3 alien patrol ships across all 12-dimensional planes simultaneously. Her consciousness expanded beyond normal human awareness as she interfaced directly with weapons that operated in spaces the enemy could not perceive. The sensation was like seeing with dozens of eyes at once while thinking with a mind that existed everywhere and nowhere. Firing main dimensional array, Amy announced calmly as energy began building in weapon systems that had no physical location in normal space. The first weapon discharged from the 7th dimensional plane directly into the Korthak ship's engine room. The biomechanical systems that powered the alien vessel suddenly seized up as dimensional energy disrupted their cellular structure at the quantum level. Emergency alarms began wailing throughout the insectoid ship as its crew discovered that their primary propulsion and weapons systems had simply stopped functioning. Engineering reports total system failure, the Korthak weapons officer buzzed in. Confusion to her queen. All biomechanical components have gone dormant simultaneously. We are showing no external damage, but nothing is responding to commands. The Queen's compound eyes focused on her instrument displays with growing alarm. How can our systems fail without being damaged? Where did the attack come from? The second weapon manifested inside the Zeltharian ship's shield generator room. The quantum shields that had protected the vessel for over 200 years collapsed instantly, as dimensional energy interfered with their harmonic frequencies. Without their protective barriers, the ship's crew felt naked and vulnerable for the first time in their military careers. Shield systems are completely offline. The Zeltharian tactical officer reported to High Commander Zixthala. The quantum generators are undamaged, but they will not activate. Something has disrupted the fundamental physics that make our shields possible. Zixthala stared at her instruments in disbelief. Our shields have never failed like this before. The quantum harmonics should be impossible to disrupt without massive external interference. The third weapon targeted the Voidkin ship while it was phased between dimensions. The alien crew believed they were safe in their shifted state, since no known weapon could follow them through dimensional space. They were completely unprepared when human energy beams appeared in every dimensional plane they accessed. Impossible, the Voidkin captain whispered as his ship's phasing systems overloaded. They are following us through dimensional space. How can they access planes of reality that only we can perceive? The Voidkin ship was forced back into normal space as its dimensional phasing equipment shut down completely. For the first time in their species' history, they found themselves trapped in four-dimensional reality like every other race in the galaxy. The sensation terrified them more than any conventional weapon ever could. All three alien patrol ships floated helplessly in space within minutes of Amy's first shot. Their crews were unharmed, but their vessels were completely powerless. The weapons officer Ryan Walsh monitored the enemy ships and confirmed that their life support systems remained fully functional while everything else had been precisely disabled. All enemy vessels are neutralized, Captain, Ryan reported. Their weapons are offline, their engines are dead, and their defensive systems have failed. However, life support and emergency systems are still operating normally. The viewing decks of Nexus Station fell into complete silence as alien observers tried to process what they had just witnessed. Species that had considered themselves technologically superior for thousands of years watched a primitive human ship disable 3 advanced patrol vessels without firing a single conventional weapon. The Nebulan representative pulsed through, colors that indicated shock and confusion. How did they disable our ships without visible weapon fire? I detected no energy beams or projectile weapons launching from the human vessel. Ambassador Lisa Grant allowed herself a small smile as she watched. The alien faces around her display expressions of amazement and growing fear. The careful diplomatic facade humanity had maintained for months was no longer necessary. The galaxy was about to learn what humans were really capable of. Jake Morrison activated his communication system and spoke to the council chambers with calm confidence. Council Speaker Morden, this concludes our combat demonstration. All 3 patrol vessels have been disabled, but their crews remain unharmed. We await your evaluation of humanity's military capabilities. Council Speaker Morden's crystalline body seemed to dim as he processed the implications of what had just occurred. His species had built their reputation on technological superiority and military dominance. The idea that humans possessed weapons his people could not understand or defend against challenged everything he believed about galactic power structures. Captain Morrison, please explain how your vessel accomplished this feat, Morden demanded. Our instruments detected no conventional weapon fire, and your ship appeared to be severely damaged from our previous attacks. Jake looked around his bridge where the crew was already repairing the superficial damage they had allowed the enemy to inflict. The Defiance had never been in any real danger since the alien weapons could only affect 4 dimensions, while the ship existed across 12. The battle damage had been carefully controlled to maintain the illusion of human weakness. Council Speaker, our weapons operate on principles that may be unfamiliar to your science, Jake replied diplomatically. Humanity has spent considerable time developing defensive technologies suited to our unique needs and capabilities. Amy Foster disconnected from the dimensional weapon systems and returned her consciousness to normal 4-dimensional awareness. The transition always left her feeling slightly disoriented, as her mind readjusted to perceiving reality the way other species experienced it. She turned to Jake with a satisfied expression. All weapon systems are secured, Captain. Dimensional locks have been released, and the enemy vessels should be able to restore basic functions within a few hours. Their crews will need time to understand what happened to their ships. The implications of humanity's demonstration rippled through the galaxy faster than light-speed communication. Word spread from Nexus Station to every major world that humans possessed technology that could render conventional defenses useless. Military commanders across dozens of species began emergency meetings to discuss this new threat to galactic stability. On the Korthak, ship Queen Vexara studied her instrument readings and tried to understand how her biomechanical systems had been defeated so completely. Run full diagnostics on all ship systems. I want to know exactly what the humans did to us. Her chief engineer's report only deepened the mystery. My queen, our biomechanical components show no physical damage whatsoever. They simply stopped responding to neural commands as if something interrupted the connection between consciousness and matter. I have never seen anything like this before. The Zeltharian High Commander faced similar confusion as his crew struggled to explain their shield failure. The quantum generators are functioning perfectly, but they cannot establish protective barriers. Something has changed the fundamental physics around our ship. Even the Voidkin found themselves unable to explain their predicament. Their ability to phase between dimensions had been central to their identity as a species for over a millennium. Losing that capability left them feeling vulnerable and confused about their place in the galaxy. Jake Morrison received a priority message from Earth Command through quantum entanglement communication. Admiral Katie Brooks appeared on his private screen with an expression of grim satisfaction. Jake, the demonstration was observed by our deep space monitoring stations. You've just announced to the galaxy that humanity is no longer the weak species they thought we were. Admiral, what are my orders regarding the Council's response? Jake asked. They're going to want explanations and demonstrations of our technology. Admiral Brooks smiled coldly. Tell them that 17 more ships like yours are currently decloaking throughout Council space. Not as a threat, but as a reminder that humanity's capabilities extend far beyond a single vessel. The Council chambers erupted into chaos as representatives from 12 different species tried to process what they had just witnessed. Voices in dozens of languages filled the air, while beings that had ruled the galaxy for millennia found themselves questioning everything they thought they knew about power and technology. Council Speaker Morden raised his crystalline arms for silence, but the shouting continued. Order! Morden's voice boomed through the chamber. We will address this situation with the dignity befitting the Galactic Council. The Korthak Queen was the first to speak once the noise died down. Speaker Morden, the humans have demonstrated weapons technology that appears to violate known physics. Their vessel disabled 3 of our ships without firing conventional weapons and without sustaining any real damage. Itself, High Commander Zixthala of the Zeltharian stood on her floating throne, with all 4 arms extended in a gesture of alarm. My instruments recorded the human ship existing in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. No species in recorded history has achieved multi-dimensional presence. The Voidkin ambassador flickered between dimensional phases as he spoke. Most disturbing of all, they followed our ship through dimensional space. We believed our phasing ability was unique in the galaxy. If humans can access the same dimensional planes we do, then our strategic advantages have been eliminated. Ambassador Lisa Grant stepped forward to address the Council with calm diplomatic precision. She had been preparing for this moment her entire career, and knew that humanity's future depended on how she handled the next few minutes. The aliens were frightened and confused, which made them potentially dangerous. Honored Council members, humanity appreciates your concern about our demonstration, Lisa began. We want to assure you that our intentions remain peaceful and focused on cooperation rather than conquest. The Nebulan representative pulsed through angry red colors as he responded. Ambassador Grant, your species has deceived us about your true capabilities. For months you have allowed us to believe you were technologically primitive while hiding weapons that could destroy our fleets. Lisa nodded respectfully while choosing her words carefully. We understand your feelings, but humanity learned long ago that revealing our full capabilities too early often leads to fear and hostility. We chose to demonstrate our technology only when formally requested to prove our worthiness for Council membership. Council Speaker Morden leaned forward on his throne. As his scanning systems continued to analyze the impossible, readings from the human ship floating outside the station. Ambassador Grant, you will explain how your species achieved multi-dimensional technology. The Council must understand the nature of these weapons. Before Lisa could respond, alarms began sounding throughout Nexus Station. The massive displays around the Council chambers lit up with tactical readings that sent waves of shock through the assembled aliens. 17 human ships had just decloaked throughout Council space, appearing simultaneously near major military installations and government centers. "This is Admiral Katie Brooks of the Earth Defense Force," came a transmission from the nearest human vessel. "We want to assure all Council members that our ships are here as a demonstration of capability, not as a threat. We have no hostile intentions toward any Council species." The tactical displays showed human ships near the Zeltharian homeworld, the Korthak military headquarters, and even the secret Voidkin dimensional research facilities. Every major Council species found human vessels appearing in locations they had considered completely secure. The message was clear without being threatening. High Commander Zixthala studied the readings with growing alarm. "They have ships positioned throughout our territory. How did they penetrate our detection networks and defensive perimeters without being detected?" The Korthak Queen clicked her mandibles in what her species considered a gesture of submission. "If they can appear anywhere without warning, then our military defenses are meaningless. Traditional concepts of borders and secure space no longer apply." Lisa Grant seized the moment to address the Council's fears while humanity held the psychological advantage. "Council members, humanity offers partnership, not domination. We have kept our technology secret not to deceive you, but to protect ourselves during our development period." She activated a holographic display that showed the timeline of human technological development. 50 years ago, we discovered that human consciousness can naturally interface with dimensional spaces that other species cannot access. We have spent decades learning to use this ability responsibly. The display showed images of Dr. Elena Rodriguez and her original research team, along with footage of early dimensional experiments. Lisa explained how humans had discovered their unique neural structure and developed technology that operated across 12 dimensional planes simultaneously. "Our weapon systems require direct interface with human consciousness to function," Lisa continued. "The technology cannot be stolen or reverse engineered because it depends on abilities that appear to be unique to human neural architecture." Council Speaker Morden processed this information while calculating the political implications. "You are saying that humans naturally possess abilities that our species cannot develop or acquire." "That appears to be correct, Speaker Morden," Lisa replied. "Just as your species has crystalline bodies that can process information in ways humans cannot match. Each species in the galaxy has evolved unique capabilities." The Voidkin ambassador spoke with obvious concern in his phasing voice. "But your capabilities render our military advantages obsolete. If you can access all dimensional planes, then our phasing technology provides no protection." Lisa smiled diplomatically as she addressed the core fear underlying all the alien concerns. "Humanity seeks to use our abilities to strengthen the galaxy, not to dominate it. We propose sharing certain applications of our technology for peaceful purposes while maintaining appropriate security over military applications." She activated another display, showing potential civilian uses for dimensional technology. "Imagine communication networks that operate instantly across any distance by using dimensional space. Trade routes that connect distant star systems without the limitations of normal space travel. Scientific research that explores realms of reality no single species could access alone." The implications began to sink in among the Council members. Rather than just facing a new military threat, they were being offered access to technologies that could revolutionize galactic civilization. The potential benefits were enormous, but so were the risks of humanity deciding to use their power aggressively. The Nebulan representative's colors shifted to curious blue as he asked the critical question, "What guarantees can you provide that humanity will not use these weapons to conquer other species?" Lisa had prepared for this question and activated a final holographic display. "We propose the establishment of joint research facilities where human scientists work alongside representatives from Council species. This will allow verification of our peaceful intentions while advancing scientific knowledge for everyone's benefit." Council Speaker Morden called for a brief recess to allow the species representatives to discuss humanity's proposal. The aliens withdrew to private chambers while Lisa waited in the main room. She knew that fear and opportunity were battling in every alien mind as they tried to decide how to respond to humanity's demonstration. When the council reconvened, Morden spoke for all the assembled species. The Galactic Council votes to grant humanity immediate full membership with status equal to founding species. We also accept your proposal for joint research facilities and peaceful technology sharing. The vote was unanimous, but Lisa could see the mixture of fear and hope in every alien face. They understood that the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted permanently. The age when established civilizations could dismiss newcomers as primitive was over. Captain Jake Morrison received the news on the bridge of the Defiance, where his crew was monitoring the reactions of various alien fleets throughout Council space. The human ships would remain visible for a few more hours before returning to their hidden bases. The demonstration had served its purpose. Amy, signal all ships to begin withdrawal procedures, Jake ordered. We've shown them what we can do. Now we need to prove we can be trusted with this power. Amy Foster smiled as she began the communication sequence. It's going to be interesting to see how the galaxy adapts to having humans as equals rather than primitives. Captain, years later, dimensional technology had revolutionized galactic civilization, just as Lisa Grant had promised. Instant communication networks connected distant worlds while exploration ships used dimensional travel to reach previously unreachable star systems. The joint research facilities had produced discoveries that benefited every species in the Council. Most importantly, humanity had kept its word about using power responsibly. The dimensional weapons remained under strict human control, but had never been used aggressively against other species. Instead, they served as peacekeepers that could intervene in conflicts without causing massive destruction. The galaxy had learned that true strength often comes from unexpected sources, and that the most dangerous assumptions are the ones made about those who appear weak or primitive.